Howdy guys, happy Thanksgiving. I've got a fun little mini episode here today, a little self-contained project. I'm here kind of in between main episodes working on the trail, but we're not going to be looking at this too much today. So this is the area of the trail I have built up right now, and over here, which I haven't shown yet, is this little tunnel I made going to our world's spawn. Just a fun little tunnel design, some kind of dim lighting. So this is the spawn. We've got this little courtyard kind of thing down here, and we're going to be building down under here. So I'm imagining like a little gazebo kind of in the middle here. Just a little thing you walk into, press a button, and you get to hear a cool little note block sound down below. So I've been messing around with note blocks a lot lately, and I found some interesting mechanics that I want to test out here on just a little small scale song. So note blocks have a bit of an interesting property in that they can be heard from a much further distance away from the player. Note blocks have a range of all the way up to 48 blocks away, so you can hear that here. As those notes get further away, they get quieter. And that actually gives us kind of an interesting mechanic that we can use to create more complex note block arrangements. So my plan is, by using the verticality of this space, I can build different instruments lower down to be quieter, to give like an interesting blend between different sounds that you can make with note blocks. And what makes this a Thanksgiving special is I'm doing the Thanksgiving theme from Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, the Vince Guaraldi classic. It's a great little tune. I'm going to play it here on my guitar real quick. Super fun. What a great little tune. So I've already worked out a bit of an arrangement of how this is going to sound. So our first step here is going to be building just the main melody. I'm going to be using the default piano note block sound. Yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so I've got the first chunk of the melody done here. I'm using a bit of a weird rhythmic trick here with these pistons, but let me show you real quick just how this sounds. So the tempo of this song is a bit of a weird area for Minecraft note blocks that they can't really get. So I'm using this trick I found on YouTube by A Catters, where you're using pistons pushing redstone blocks, which take like a tick and a half to activate. So with these set to 3 ticks, and then with these activating at 1.5 ticks, I can do around like 100 beats per minute with 16th notes. If you don't know what that means, it doesn't matter, it's not important, but it gives us an interesting challenge. So as I activate this, so as I'm sure you noticed, those pistons are pretty freaking loud, right? And you can fix this by turning your block sounds off. But requiring the player to do that is kind of lame. Like, you should be able to just walk up, press a button, and listen to the song. So what I've done here is built this just low enough. So right up here is where players will listen to the song, right? This is the block. And you can hear if I activate it, those pistons are completely silent. I've got my block sounds up. Like, it's not a fluke. It's pretty cool, which I think this is a recent change to where pistons can now only be heard like 8 blocks away or so. So pretty cool being able to hide this like that. So now let's go ahead and get this second half of it built up. Alright, so I've got the rest of this melody built. Pretty simple, but you'll see how it goes. So pretty standard. The only weird thing is kind of here I have some layered, like it's more of a bling, doing even a faster speed trick with this. And then a bit of a weird thing here. What's this? Well, down here I've built just a little harmony line, something that's not like in the original recording, but just a little embellishment I wanted to try putting in here using the iron xylophone sound. So the way I'm thinking this system will work, I have this tower of observers taking a signal just from the top all the way down, and then just feeding off of that will be all of these different instruments. So I have that one down there hooked up, and if I go up here and activate it, you can hear what it'll sound like. So that's a pretty cool balance, and this instrument down here is really considerably quieter than if I had it further up. You can hear if I activate it from up here and then jump down. So that's a huge difference in balance. Like it's really significant. So this instrument I've built at the bottom because I think it's going to be the quietest in the arrangement. I might have some ghost notes layered further down there, but the bulk of this is just going to be between these two main layers that I've built here now. One slight downside with this system is that it takes the observers a pretty significant amount of time to carry the signal all the way down there. So you see I have this on a big delay because it takes that long for the signal to get down there. That instrument down there is activating as quickly as possible. So this has to be delayed to match that. I think I might be able to find a different way to do this. The problem is I need multiple outputs. So I can't just do like the wall trick where you have like a 3-wide wall and you use that like block update thing to get a detection. That won't work because I would need multiple observers. I can't think of any other way to do it, so I'm just kind of stuck with this for now. So the next instrument I'm going to put in here is a double of the melody, but on the flute instrument, which is an octave up. I'm going to build it just right above this iron xylophone line, just kind of ducking it in there just to be a little bit of a texture. All right, I've got this flute layer in here now. I've kind of kept it similar to the path of the melody blocks and pretty much exactly the same with just a couple different note variations here on some of those little like ending bring stings and stuff like that. Pretty cool. It's a nice little layer in there. There's a clear difference. So this next instrument is going to be a little bass line. I'm thinking around like 50% volume, so I'm just going to build like halfway in between these two, I guess. So I'm starting with my first note block directly lined up with the first note of all the other instruments, just so that it's easy to get these all activating at the same time. Whenever I'm building a note block line, I like to keep a target block at the beginning, so that way I can trigger it from far away, just for testing, it's pretty easy. So I'm using this Vanilla Tweaks resource pack that lets me see the pitch of each note block, and then I have everything like written out on paper in front of me of what the pitch is for each of these needs to be. So it's super easy for me to just go block by block and just know, all right, this has got to get to 18, this one needs to be at 20. All right, so I've run into a bit of an issue here, which I kind of expected. This observer somehow is activating on like a half pulse or something, and so no matter what I do, it just won't quite line up. So I've tried, every different timing I can do, and it just can't get quite in between. So I need to come up with a new way to activate all of these instruments right at the same time. All right, so this bass line ended up being a little more complicated than I thought it would be, but we've got this working perfectly now. So I'm using a wall block in between two full-size blocks, and then I can just put an observer anywhere that I want to pull a signal off of, and it does it instantaneously from top to bottom. When I activate this piston will just pull back this wall, which then updates all of these below because they change shape. And then I ended up needing to tweak the rhythm of these quite a bit. It was a little more complicated again than I thought it would be, just because some of these needed to have like the 1.5 tick delay, and I was just giving them like 2, so that's why they were a little off. But I've got these all set up now, and it sounds pretty good. So I have just a few little more instruments I'm going to add in here. I'm going to be doubling this bass line, but with the didgeridoo sound, which is you could put a pumpkin under the note block, but it's a little weird. So I'm just going to be throwing it like all the way at the bottom here, so you just barely hear it, just to give the bass a little more of like an attack sound, a little more powerful. Alrighty, I've got all these extra sounds in here, and I haven't actually checked it out yet, but what I ended up doing is just using the wiring for the lowest instrument. I tried building lower at first, and it was just too quiet, so I moved it up here, and this is good. I have not listened to this yet, so this is going to be the true first impression. This is 99% done, so here we go. Oh, I don't have an arrow. All right, poor man's projectile. Pretty cool. Let me go get an arrow real quick. You can tell there's some really significant layering going on in there. Nice. Wow. I'm really quite proud of this. I think this sounds pretty cool. Very unique for a note block thing. So I want to add a note at the end here that kind of starts quiet and then rises up with a bit of a bling, So I think the best way to do that will just be to have a vertically climbing note block sound. So like if I make a torch tower maybe and that powers the note blocks, that could work. I don't know. I have no idea here. I'm going off the cuff. So I found a really cool way to pull this off. I'm using the same wall-powered technology as over here, so an update being sent all the way through this at the same time. And then I have 6 observers on this, spaced out 5 blocks in between, and then just each one is a little more delayed. So here at the bottom is just directly off the observer. This one's got 2 observers in between, 3 observers, a repeater with 1 tick, a repeater with 2 ticks, and then another repeater with 2 ticks. But this one is on a different, it's on a chime sound. Super fun. And I gotta admit, I pre-listened, but this sounds pretty freaking great. I like that a lot. I'm gonna take a couple more listens, see if there's anything else I want to do to this, but man, I'm feeling good. So I've got a bell, but my question is, how far away can they be heard? I imagine it's not the full 48 blocks as like note blocks. Okay, I think it does. I think it has that extended range. All right, so I've got a bell down there now. Let's see what it sounds like from up top. It's kind of silly, but I think I like it. It's cheesy, but it sounded pretty fun. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep that. It's like a crash cymbal or something. It sounds ridiculous. So I think I feel confident in calling all of this redstone finished. I might do a little bit of work in here later, just kind of cleaning this up, adding more platforms in between, and like maybe better scaffolding to get around. But for now, I kind of want to move on to building this little venue up top and getting a button linked up to it. So still got a long way to go, but I've gone ahead and made just a basic little border around here, and then I've set this up to be activated by right-clicking this decorated pot. So just down below here, I have a skulk sensor with a signal strength of 11 being sent into it, so it's only picking up changed block state vibrations. And then whenever that happens, it sends through, activates the whole thing like normal. And then I added this little circuit in here, which basically just locks this repeater until after the song is finished, so that if you just stand there and like hold right click and spam it, it won't play the song like overlapping over and over again. So you can hear the skulk sensor is still being activated, but doesn't unlock it until right after that song is done playing. So I want to keep this build fairly simple. I think this is going to be like a little park vibe. So I think I'm just going to do a tree on here, maybe some flowers, but yeah, really not too much. I think I'll be expanding this area later to add in more like park benches and stuff. Just a nice little courtyard area. But yeah, I'm going to get cracking on that tree, see what I come up with. Alrighty, so I just threw together a quick little tree. I think it's looking pretty good. I was able to build this in just around 25 minutes. I guess that's the perk of building dozens and dozens of trees. The last episode, I've gotten pretty quick at putting these together, which is nice. I'm still gonna do a bit of work here on the bottom. I know I want to put like more flowers and stuff around in here, and maybe like podzol or something in here instead, so it's like fertilized dirt. But then I think that's gonna be just about it. I'll sneak a little bit of hidden lighting in here because this is just a little bit dark enough that mobs can spawn at night. And then I think we're gonna be all finished up. So I just did a little bit of decoration in here. I think it's looking good. I am not sure if I should switch out this border to stand out a little more. You know, it's the same block palette-ish as what's on the ground here. Maybe I should switch to like a stone, smooth stone thing. Oh, this is sad. No! So I think I've landed in on andesite for this with some chiseled stone brick in there. It's just a nice little like in-between color of it's not as bright as this and it's not as dark as the tuff. Alright, so imagine you've just come through the nether portal, you're walking down the staircase, going through spawn, and you see this new centerpiece that's popped up. What is this? Right-click this pot to hear a little jingle. I don't mind if I do. Awesome, man, I'm so happy with this. This is such a fun kind of little project, just a cool idea I had. I wanted to test out some new noteblock stuff. I think the song turned out pretty cool. It was nice testing out these different ideas with a short little jingle. I definitely learned a lot from doing this project, especially with some of this vertical redstone thing. This is a major discovery for me, and I'm really interested to work more with this. If you're watching this around when I put it out, I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving, or if you live anywhere else in the world, I hope you had a decent Thursday. I think I'll be doing more short videos like this, so just small little self-contained projects. If you guys like that kind of thing, let me know down below, and I will see you all next time. See ya.